This compilation is made to assist with the latest information, updates, and deadlines.
Welcome to this explainer. Look, let's be honest. Tax season, it usually brings on that familiar wave of panic. You know, that sudden, overwhelming urge to organize your sock drawer instead of dealing with your receipts. But hey, it really doesn't have to be a headache. Today, we're taking a step-by-step journey through the 2026 Sars tax season. By the end of our time together, you're going to see that achieving complete compliance this year is entirely manageable, and you'll be armed with exactly the knowledge you need to conquer it.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Filing Season 2026 Overview. 2. Registering for Sars Efiling. 3. Understanding auto assessments. 4. Navigating the verification process. And lastly, 5. Checking your tax refund. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, Filing Season 2026 Overview. Let's look at the dates and updates. Now, grounding ourselves in these specific dates, it's absolutely crucial. The season essentially kicked off between July 1st and July 12th with those auto assessments, but for a lot of you, specifically non-provisional filers who weren't auto-assessed, well, July 13th was the real starting gun. You've got until October 23rd to file. Provisional taxpayers, on the other hand, get a much wider window, stretching all the way to January 22nd, 2027. Tell me, did you get hit with an error screen like this on day one? Because if you felt completely frustrated that day, your experience is entirely valid. Actually, there was a massive system outage at the very start of the season. Taxpayers were locked out, getting unexpected error messages, and facing these crazy delays just trying to get the one-time passwords for two-factor authentication. So if you hit a wall, you definitely weren't alone. It was a heavily documented issue caused by immense web traffic. But, despite that rocky start, the 2026 season actually brings some incredibly helpful updates. SARS is doing way less manual data capturing now. They're relying much more on pre-filled investment data. They've also rolled out this new declaration alert questionnaire right at the submission stage, which is great for catching errors early. And get this, if you're someone who prefers a quick chat over sifting through emails, you can now get your notice of assessment sent straight to your WhatsApp. A real game changer for accessibility, for sure.
Moving right along to Section 2, Registering for Sars E-Filing. Let's see how you can get set up in just 5 to 10 minutes.
So, here are the 4 exact steps you'll follow on the e-filing website or the Mobi app. Step 1. You enter your ID and personal details. Step 2. Set up your email and cell phone for those all-important OTPs. Step 3. Complete a quick biometric authentication. And Step 4. Verification and your first login. The really brilliant part here. If you're a brand new taxpayer, you literally don't even need an existing tax number to get started. You just run through this process and SARS automatically registers you for income tax and issues your new number via an IT-50 notice.
Now, you might be wondering about that third step we just mentioned, biometric facial recognition authentication. It's a relatively new, mandatory digital step for South African citizens designed to combat identity fraud. Basically, your device's camera scans your face to match it against official SARS records. A quick pro tip to make sure you nail the scam on the first try: do it in a really well-lit room with a neutral background. Oh, and make sure to take off your glasses or any hats.
All right, on to Section 3, Understanding Auto Assessments. So, SARS loves to refer to the auto assessment as the power of done, which, is fantastic, but only if their data actually matches your complete financial reality. Here's the deal. If you check your assessment and absolutely everything is correct, boom, no further action required. You don't submit a thing. But, and this is a big but, if the information is incorrect or if things are missing, you have to actively review those details, add the missing info, and submit an updated return on e-filing.
And listen, this is an absolutely critical warning for those of you with slightly more complex finances. Auto assessments strictly rely on third-party data that SARS already holds. So what does that mean? It means if you're a freelancer, if you've got a side hustle, if you're actively trading crypto, or if you made out-of-pocket medical or retirement contributions that aren't logged in the system, the auto assessment is going to miss them. In these cases, you absolutely need to reject the auto assessment and file manually. You want to make sure you're getting your accurate deductions and avoiding any nasty penalties down the line.
Which brings us to Section 4, Navigating the Verification Process.
Okay, so let's say you rejected your auto assessment because of that side hustle. There is a solid chance you'll get a message saying you've been selected for verification. Now, I know that induces immediate panic, but take a deep breath. The crucial point here is that a verification is just a routine check. SARS is literally just asking for supporting documents to reconcile third-party data against your declared figures. It is completely distinct from a full, intrusive audit. When your return does get flagged, SARS sends a letter detailing exactly what they need. Usually they're looking for things like your IRP-5 or IT3A certificates, your medical scheme tax certificates, retirement annuity certificates, investment certificates, and crypto transaction schedules. You just upload these via the e-filing supporting documents link. But here is a massive word of caution. Only send exactly what is requested. Resist the urge to upload your entire filing cabinet from the last 10 years, okay? Keep it clean, keep it clearly labeled, and strictly relevant. Now, if you trade cryptocurrency, pay very close attention to this. This is a massive edge case for modern investors. Crypto platforms typically do not issue standard IT3 tax certificates like your bank does. But because SARS is already pulling data from these exchanges, you have to build and submit your own manual transaction schedules. You'll need to export your trade history and show the exact dates, the RAND values, the proceeds, and the cost basis to actually prove your numbers.
21. That is the magic number. You typically have 21 business days to upload those requested documents from the date you get the verification letter. Do not ignore this deadline. If you miss this window, SARS might just issue a revised assessment based solely on the third-party data they already have, and that means they could strip away all your deductions, which leaves you footing a much, much higher tax bill. Nobody wants that.
All right, on to our final stop, Section 5, checking your tax refund. Once you've made it through all the paperwork, we get to the absolute best part. 72 hours. That is SARS's big efficiency goal right now. Once your assessment is totally finalized, you aren't just left in the dark wondering. You can track your refund status immediately via WhatsApp, the Mobi app, or even by using basic USSD codes on your phone.
According to their service charter, SARS actually aims to refund 90% of taxpayers within 72 hours. To put that into perspective, that's 9 out of 10 people getting their cash incredibly fast. But to fall into that 90%, a few specific conditions have to be met. Your refund has to be over R100, your banking details must be completely up to date on the system, and you can't have any outstanding returns from previous years or be stuck in a full audit. If those boxes are checked, the turnaround is literally lightning fast.
So, we've walked through the timeline, registration, navigating auto assessments, and the path to actually getting your refund. Understanding how this system works is half the battle. The other half is taking action. You definitely don't want your money sitting with SARS a day longer than it needs to. So I'm going to leave you with this question. Are your 2026 tax records completely organized and ready to go right now? Grab your documents, log in, and let's conquer this tax season with total confidence. Thanks for joining me on this explainer.
The SARS auto assessment is meant to save you from manually typing in every single tax certificate. But how does it calculate your exact refund if you had massive out-of-pocket medical bills this year? Behind the scenes, SARS simulates your tax return using third-party data. Information from your employer and your bank automatically slots right into the form. But the system has a major blind spot. It only knows what's reported to it, leaving those out-of-pocket medical deductions glaringly blank. And because SARS removed the old accept button, doing nothing is dangerous. If you just let the deadline timer expire, SARS interprets your silence as agreement. That incomplete data gets permanently locked in as your final assessment. To fix this, you have to actively open the return on e-filing or the Mobi app. You must manually type those missing medical expenses into the blank slots. And those massive out-of-pocket medical bills from the beginning? By submitting a correction, SARS recalculates your assessment and finally secures the refund you actually deserve.